Hello, hello. All right, we want to have a really good conversation about the fact that you are totally normal. Totally normal. If you do not have excitement, enthusiasm, or motivation for this journey. When I lost my 170 pounds the last time, I gave myself permission to not have any of those things. I knew, because I had spent more than 10 years yo-yo dieting, that I tended to show up extremely enthused at first, right? I got all the materials, I read the book, I went all in, and I think you guys probably know what I'm talking about, right? It's that I'm starting with gusto, and then whether it be 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, the motivation, the focus, the interest would start to wane. And I assumed that meant I wasn't cut for this. Like that I just obviously wasn't like everyone else. Like I wasn't feeling it. So thus I might as well just go ahead and quit because, hey, I am not motivated. I am not enthused. I'm not like those Nike commercials or those montage scenes where people are getting it done. It was no Biggest Loser videotape, right? I was like, I don't want to do this today. You know what I mean. And what I realized was I equated it to a football team, a professional football team. A professional football team, they get all jacked up before a game. You go in the locker room, they're chanting, they're yelling, they're fist pumping, they're like in it. And they cannot keep, like you don't see them going to daily practice like that. Why? Because people can't. You can't keep the same level of enthusiasm, focus, and motivation for yourself up all the time the exact same way. You have a life. You have other things going on. You have family, you have work, you have other interests. And this, by the way, is why when I created the Half Size Me program, I actually specifically ask people to only do about 10 minutes a day. Now, I know that's not the initial drive of most community members when they join. They want to get their hands on everything, they want to do everything, but my experience tells me they'll eventually burn out doing that approach, so that's why I don't structure it that way. I would much rather them pace themselves, do a little bit every day, and not come in feeling like they got to do it all. Because inevitably what will happen is a couple weeks, maybe a month later, they're like, wow, this is a lot. I don't think I can keep this up. And then they pass judgment on themselves, right? So it's one thing to see a lack of motivation and enthusiasm, but if you really believe that you should, and you're holding that expectation for yourself, and you see that you're not where you think you should be, then what ultimately happens is you kind of convince yourself that this isn't for you, that you can't do this journey, that somehow you are not like everyone else. No, you're exactly like everyone else. People drop out of all kinds of programs, weight loss support, usually within 4 to 6 weeks because they falsely believe they should feel that way. So what would happen if you didn't judge yourself? What would happen if you said, I'm going into this day one, knowing my enthusiasm is probably going to be through the roof. I'm going to be excited, normal human response. I'm going to be totally in it. I'm going to start to see big weight loss happening. But then there's going to be a period, and if I was a gambling person, which I am not, I would put a large sum of money on the table that at some point you're not going to feel those things. You're going to be like, I don't want to do this today. I don't want to track. I don't want to weigh my food. I don't want to go for my walk. I just don't want to do it. And that's okay. Totally expected. Totally anticipated. And you say, I knew I was going to feel like this at some point. This is totally normal. I remember Heather's video. She said this is totally normal. So my goal right now is just to coast. I'm going to focus on maintaining my weight. I have a few basic habits I'm going to keep up with. By the way, this is why support systems are so important. And this is why I'm so grateful. I've been in the Half Size Me community since 2013, and I use it because I've had lots of coasting moments. I've had lots of low motivation moments. I've had lots of feeling apathetic moments. And what helps me personally is seeing other people's posts, seeing when they're struggling, hearing their victories, staying connected with people who get it. Because I know, just like I knew I would not feel motivated, I know it will come back. And what it is, you're waiting it out. It's like, okay, I give myself permission to not feel motivated today. I have a few basic, minimal habits that I'm going to keep up with. My goal is to maintain the progress I've made. And when that motivation comes back, I will welcome it with open arms and I'll enjoy it as long as it lasts, realizing it will then go again. Right? It's a cycle. Think of waves on the beach, right? A big wave crests, it crashes down, right? Think of that as being big motivation, big enthusiasm, excitement, starting your program. And then it might go flat for a while. Okay, low motivation, no excitement, kind of feeling like the repetitive drone of doing it is boring you, right? And then something happens and the waves come again, right? That's exactly how this process looks. And the reason most people don't really get through the low motivation periods is because they judge themselves. They think they're bad, wrong, or something is broken with them, and they just quit. What I would encourage you to do is push through, give yourself permission to feel low motivation, just do your basic minimal habits, and then focus on knowing that you will come back out of this. Stay connected with other people, share, be visible, don't slink off, okay? Look at other people's stuff, stay connected, and then the motivation will return. And when it does, give yourself permission to enjoy it as long as it's there, but realize you will have again another period of low motivation. It's just as predictable as waves on the beach, and that you will just coast through that. The coasting is really why I've maintained my weight for the last 8 years. Like, there's been a lot of low motivation periods. I've had to coast through them so that way I didn't gain a bunch of weight back. So I just want to encourage you not to think you're broken, not to think you're some kind of oddball out. No, even these people with Fitspo pages, whether they share this with you or not is irrelevant. They, of course, go through periods of low motivation in their life as well. Nobody can stay up at this wacky enthusiasm level all the time. Rah, 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 yeah, 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 all this kind of business. You can't do it. It's impossible. You have to expect those low motivation periods and coast through them. All right, you guys have a good day. I'll talk to you soon.